It's Elias AK-47 roaming live from the gutter, and you're listening to the OTS Project. Shots will be fired.
And yeah, so I'm standing there, right? I'm literally standing there, and I'm walking out of the grocery store, and all of a sudden I see the thing with my car in the air, and a bunch of kids are just chanting, "Throw it." And I'm like, no, don't throw it. I just bought that. It's not even paid off yet. And guess what? He threw it.
Where'd he throw it?
Almost at me. I actually had to like roll out of the way. It was actually kind of cool, low-key. I actually looked like Solid Snake or some shit. But yeah.
Imagine getting your own car thrown at you.
Yeah. Just to
hey man, it's all for the kids, man. It's all for the kids.
I guess so. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 29 of the OTS Project. Theo, what's going on, my boy?
I'm snacking on some Swedish fish because I still have some from last night.
Yeah, I'm sure that the people watching are enjoying that audio in their ears.
I'm hoping it's not really getting picked up on. It doesn't look like it is, at least.
The bag ruffling was definitely picked up on. I definitely heard that. But
you mean this? Sorry.
Yeah, that.
Oh, I'll try to keep it away. But pretty good week. I'd say. Went to go see Fantastic Four last night, obviously, which we will begin into in our review, which should already pretty much be up at this point, I believe, by the time this is out. But yeah, I'm going to see Superman again for a fourth time tonight. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that. Going to see it with a friend. Going to hopefully get them more into Superman.
Nice.
I finally got a poster for the movie. Well, not for the movie, but just a Superman poster in general. So I'm going to put that up at some point.
Right.
What else have I been doing? Oh, me and my roommate have been going through and continuing our watching of the Hunger Games series in preparation for the next one coming out. I think next year it is. I think.
Yeah, I believe so. They're still announcing the cast, so they haven't even started filming yet.
Yeah. Okay, so next year. So that's been pretty fun. We've been having a fun time with that. I found La La Land on DVD and Blu-ray for $10, and I fucking snagged that shit. That was a great purchase. I'm very happy about that. I can't wait to rewatch that one at some point. But yeah, I don't know. Pretty chill week.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry, I gotta hydrate, guys.
Right,
I can't be dry.
Yeah. Horrible. Yeah, on my end, it's been a pretty hectic week, to say, I guess the least. I mean, most of the week was okay, but, I mean, my dog Dolly has been dealing with something. It kind of just seems like straight up depression, honestly, but she has something, I already forgot, it's called, like, Anderson's disease or something like that, but basically she's depressed in a way. Her, like, nervous system is kind of shut off, so we've been dealing with that. Today, though, she has been pretty good. Today, she hasn't been running around, but she definitely seems a little bit more herself. She was giving me some kisses, and her tail was wagging and stuff, so, yeah. And like I told you, my mom is literally taking her in, like, an hour to go get some shot that is supposed to, like, correct everything, so hopefully by tonight she should be all good. But it's been a stressful past, like, 3 days for sure, dealing with all that. But other than that, yeah, I literally, as I was waiting for you to finish up at the gym and stuff like that, I watched Happy Gilmore 2, which dropped on Netflix today. Pretty fun movie, pretty fun. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. I'm a big Adam Sandler fan, but it may sound crazy. I don't remember too much about Happy Gilmore, the first one. I mean, there's stuff that I do remember, but like it's not one of my like most favorite Adam Sandler movies, so I didn't remember too much. But there were some cool callbacks and stuff in this movie, in this sequel, as well as MJF plays one of his sons, and Becky Lynch plays like one of the rival golfers that he's going against stuff. So for wrestling fans, it's pretty cool to see them in there. I know Nikki Bella was also supposed to be in there, but I guess her character ended up getting like cut. But yeah, still cool to see like MJF and Becky Lynch in there and stuff like that. So that's what I did today, this morning, as I was kind of waiting for you to get ready. But yeah, other than that, just kind of hanging out. We went and saw Fantastic Four.
We also watched the Star Wars sequels, or started to at least, with my sister this past weekend.
Right.
That was also very fun.
Yeah, so past Saturday we finally got it. So the video is coming soon. But I can't upload it yet because we don't have Rise of Skywalker. So I have it like literally edited all the way up until where the footage will be of like her reaction. So I literally just need like this one clip of us talking about it, and then it'll be done. So that video should be coming in a couple weeks at least, hopefully. But yeah, we watched Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Rachel fell asleep through majority of The Force Awakens, so her review was a little tainted there because there wasn't too much that she remembered. But from what she saw, she liked it. And The Last Jedi, she said she liked too, right? I believe she said she enjoyed
Last
it.
Jedi a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, we just gotta find a time to finally get her back over to finish Rise of Skywalker. But if it's on a Saturday and we're free, I would like to do Rise of Skywalker and then maybe do like Solo and Andor as well to really kind of finish out the Star Wars movies. So if we can do that, that'd be great. But definitely need to get Rise of Skywalker done to get the video done in itself.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of all we've been doing. Interesting weeks for both of us. But yeah, we got some news. First news though is Spider-Verse, I believe, has been delayed again to June 25th of 2027.
Let's go. We're never seeing this movie.
Yeah, that's been it's funny too because that's been like the meme that everybody has said for like the past year because of the fact that it's been delayed and then it just got delayed again. So I don't know. It's I mean, we've said it with like video games and stuff. I have the same idea of like, yeah, it's stressful, yeah, it's annoying, but if that's what they need to do to take the time to make sure it's accurate and good and to the level of Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, then it's got to be what it's got to be. But
it's going to get to like a point where this is going to get delayed so much that nobody's going to care by the time this movie comes out because it's been like 8 years.
I could see part of that, but I honestly I don't think it would fully be like that. I feel like those two movies are so goated that it could take another 10 years to get that movie out and people will still go in droves to see it when it comes out.
Maybe.
Because I think
maybe it'll be like a GTA 6 situation or something. I don't know.
Right. I think it's kind of that goated. I mean, because we even see like sequels of a movie that was made in the 80s that gets a sequel now and people will still run and go see it. So I feel like people will still be excited even if it takes 10 years to finally get that movie out. I think people would be
That's fair.
excited.
That's fair.
Honestly, the biggest issue from what I got is, and we're going to get into this because there's this whole Kevin Feige interview or whatever they did, but my biggest issue is that in that interview he did say, the person asked him about Miles Morales and where he would be in the MCU, and he basically said straight up that Sony basically asked them not to use, or told them not to use Miles Morales until this is wrapped up, like until the Spider-Verse stuff is wrapped up, and then he has free reign to use it. So that's honestly the biggest issue is that this movie takes 5 more years to come out, and we're not going to get Miles Morales for another 5 more years in the MCU. So that, to me, is really the biggest issue. But in general, I'd rather them just take their time to get the movie out. But, yeah.
Right.
Toy Story, September 12th. The 30th anniversary is this year of the original Toy Story. So
I thought you were about to say that Toy Story 5 was coming out in like 2 months, and I was what the fuck are you talking about?
No. No, this is just something. It's not like groundbreaking news or anything. It's just something I saw that I thought was really cool and wanted to include. So yeah, it's like the 30th anniversary this year of the original Toy Story. So September 12th, I don't know how long it is, but from September 12th to at some point, they are putting the original movie back in theaters. So I definitely want to go check that out for sure because those are like my favorite Disney movies for sure. So just a cool little thing that I kind of thought was interesting. Another small tidbit here though, Miss JC Jane, for the wrestling side of things, has made history. I am so proud. She has legitimately made history as she is the first woman to hold the NXT Women's Championship and the TNA Knockouts Championship at the same time this past weekend, this past Sunday at Slammiversary. She did the big deed, and I just texted her, motherfucking superstar. That's all I sent her. And she was just like, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm super proud. So I'm really happy for her. That's some stuff. From you know, everybody literally when she won the NXT Women's title was like, this is the most beatable champion in NXT history, and now she's literally the double champ.
Now she's double
so I'm like,
champ.
that's
across
right.
2 brands.
So that's really cool. And honestly, from a friend perspective, there was a little bit. It makes me more proud because there was a little bit of time, and it wasn't her fault. I think it was more NXT and what was just going on. There was a time, probably like about the past year before all this stuff kind of happened. Past year, maybe year and a half, there was a time where I would see names rolling out of releases, and I would get a little nervous that her name may have been on that. Again, not because of what she was doing. Like, it wasn't her. It was just that there were so many big names in NXT, and so there was a while where, like, she was doing that random stuff with Chase U, or she was on, like, Level Up, and she wasn't even on NXT TV. Like, she was kind of just there, And so for that bit of time, I was a little scared that my friend was gonna lose her job. So from going from that to this is just so cool to see. Like, completely changed it, and clearly they're very high on her because now obviously she's double champ. So that is really, really cool to see. We have the Kevin Feige interview. We'll leave that as like the end cap here. Jimmy Olsen anthology series though apparently is being greenlit at DC Studios.
I'm
where,
so happy.
You know, I would imagine it's going to be on HBO Max, and it'll be a anthology series. So it's not going to be like a cohesive like storyline. I'd imagine that goes through. It's just going to be each episode is probably something completely different. Just like his comic books, just him doing little side quests. That somehow him doing little side quests, but also is like the most insane shit that could happen. And I know I saw in the comics that there were a lot of villains, a lot of big villains that were in his like comics and stuff. So this, a lot of people are speculating, and I agree with it, that this series could be a great way to introduce a lot of villains, and especially a couple of big ones. I already saw a rumor that Darkseid is rumored to be making an appearance and making his debut in this Jimmy Olsen show. So like, definitely gonna be fun, and definitely a good way to like world build, introducing a ton of villains each episode. If there's 8 episodes, you get 8 villains that are introduced into the DCU. So that'd be really cool.
I've been following these Twitter accounts ever since you brought them to my attention last weekend, of like the whole like the Lord Tech, the Justice Gang Twitter, and
these like random parody accounts.
These random parody accounts that are somehow verified. I've been following
Right.
this Jimmy Olsen one, and the one name I was getting heard thrown around a lot, funnily enough, was Gorilla Grodd. And
Yes,
so
that
it
as
was
well.
like an hour. I
Yes.
saw that name get thrown around. I went back on Twitter, and I just see Jimmy Olsen posted a picture from his DM from a Gorilla Grodd Twitter account in all caps that just says, "I've got your fucking number."
yeah, that'll be definitely really
be
fun
awesome.
if that
I
comes
can't
to
wait.
fruition.
I've been reading through
Right.
the Jimmy Olsen comics right now, so it's like a perfect time for me to get into this kind of stuff. So I'm very
Right.
excited to see what they do with the show.
So yeah, before we get into this Kevin Feige interview though, we have to talk about the biggest news, the 2 biggest pieces of news probably this week. Unfortunately, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan both have passed away. You know, we'll talk about Ozzy Osbourne first. I love Ozzy Osbourne. I think he was such a character, and his music was good, and he was such a character. The Osbourne Show, I see those clips on TikTok all the time, and he was just so hilarious. So to me, I love Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know if you have any connection to Ozzy Osbourne, but I've definitely enjoyed like his music and his appearances. He was definitely like how Snoop Dogg is now. Like, he was not afraid to just say yes to the check, man. Like, he'll show up in a bubblegum commercial. He'll do a reality show. He'll be a secret character in a video game. Like, he would be everywhere during the 2000s for sure. So like, I definitely saw Ozzy Osbourne a lot as a kid. Yeah.
Back when I was a teenager, I think it was like 15 or 16. I don't remember if it was in New York or if it was in Canada, but my family went to like a Madame Tussauds, and the first time I had like any knowing of Ozzy Osbourne or who he is my dad just being like, pointing at like his statue and be like, "This is Ozzy. I think you'd like Ozzy a lot." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I guess I'll check him out at some point." And I think like after that trip, we got home and I was checking out his music, and I was like, "Damn, this is some pretty good shit." I'm really fucking with this stuff a lot. I think he definitely had such a unique taste on like how to do rock and roll music and stuff like that. So he's definitely a legend for sure, and he's definitely going to be missed. I think I have a common thought here that he lived quite a good bit longer than I think most people were really expecting him to live it out for sure. At 76, I think was pretty good. And
I
just
think
after like,
no, go ahead.
go ahead.
You're good. No, you go ahead. You go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, you go ahead. No, yeah. I think just like after having like his like farewell tour and everything like that.
Yeah.
It was a very like it was a good time to really like kind of go out, I guess, after having such like a full and really successful and impactful life on so many people for sure.
And I also think my thought is one of the things I love about him so much is that he just like genuinely lived life on his own rules. Like, nobody was telling Ozzy Osbourne like, no, or you're not doing that, or you have to do this. Like, Ozzy genuinely just did whatever the fuck he wanted, and I'm like, that's what everybody should strive to. Right, that's what everybody should strive to have in their life. It's just like a life of, I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want, and you know, the money will either come or not type shit. Like, you just do what you do, you know, and just live life, not putting like contracts first, you know. So like, yeah, definitely really missed. A legend for sure. He had multiple WWE appearances. All of his WWE appearances were great. So yeah, for sure, definitely rest in peace to Ozzy. As well as Hulk Hogan. This is an interesting one because you and I both are not big fans of Hulk Hogan. We weren't big on his work, but more importantly, we were not fans of the person Terry Bollea.
Yes.
And I also do feel bad like saying this, but I feel like we do still need to say it. But like, we also like you got into wrestling later. You got into wrestling as you were like kind of becoming a teenager and stuff like that. I obviously am like a lifelong wrestling fan. But we both like we weren't. I was born in '98. By the time I was like functioning, it was the 2000s. So like, I do not have Hulk Hogan. My Hulk Hogan was John Cena. My Hulk Hogan was not Hulk Hogan. My biggest connection to Hulk Hogan is like his appearances in WWE after like in 2005 and stuff like that, or like him going to TNA, which was not great. So like I never had this huge like Hulk Hogan is my hero thing, as well as again you didn't grow up with Hulk Hogan either, so like I think that has something to do with it for us, is like we were more John Cena kids and stuff like that, for
Right.
sure. So like yeah, I just never had too much of a big connection to him, but I never really liked his work as well. But I can't say like we still have to. I still respect the fact. It's hard to say it, but like I respect the fact of what he did in a way, because
You can't discredit his impact. That's what it is.
Right. I respect the draw that he was, is really what it is. Like,
Right.
I respect the amount of people that became wrestling fans because of Hulk Hogan. I understand it. I respect the kids, and I feel bad for the kids that are now adults that grew up with Hulk Hogan. And I've seen multiple. Matt Cardona said it and whatnot, of like, this was their hero who taught them how to be, strong, or taught them how to, get through what they were going through and stuff. I respect that, and I feel bad for that. So yeah, we're not big fans of Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea and stuff like that. But it is still sad. He still is an icon in professional wrestling. So we do also want to say rest in peace to him for sure, because yeah, I mean, wrestling would not be where it is without him. Whether we like him or not, we still have to respect the fact that him and like Vince, again, whether you like Vince or not, they both really kind of paved the way and really shaped what sports entertainment and professional wrestling is, for sure.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I will say, like, when I was first getting into wrestling, like, it was really kind of like the video games and stuff like that, and
Right.
they obviously had their stories. So, like, my real first, like, connection with Hulk Hogan was kind of just, like, in, like, 2K14 with, like, the like, all the WrestleManias and whatnot. So, I think at that point, I was a lot of, like, just both a younger person and just a younger wrestling fan in general, and I just didn't really know about him. So, what I knew about him was pretty much the narrative that
Right.
2K and WWE were pretty much pushing at that point. But
You knew the
obviously, as,
character.
like, I knew the character. I never knew like the person behind it, and obviously knowing the person behind it, it's obviously a lot worse than that. And even still, some of the stuff that the character did, especially later on, I'm not too big of a fan of either. But like,
Right.
but
Right.
but still, I mean, like, there's still like so many important moments in just like the history of not just like wrestling, but just like the entertainment world in general, where he is like a very big part of that. He's a very big name, and so a
Right.
lot of people are obviously going to be very impacted by that, especially with the people that did grow up watching him and stuff like that. And even though I don't like him, like he's still like a participant in one of my top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time. Him and Rock tore the
Right.
effing house down in WrestleMania 18. So it's like, obviously, like, I don't like care for the guy, but like I can't like discredit the stuff that he did, because like you said, wrestling would not be where it is today without him. He's a giant pillar of why it's as
Right.
popular as it is, and just everything that he's done for so many other people in the business that have been trying to like get up and become like stars and stuff like that. Like you said, Matt Cardona. I know other people like The Miz and Kurt Angle and everybody pretty much has been either inspired or learned from Hulk Hogan in some way, shape, or form to be the great performer that they are today. So just a lot of impact this man has had over the entire business that's just
Right.
now kind of gone.
No, for sure. I'll put all my discredit on doing anything for the business to Goldberg, to Bill Goldberg, instead of Hulk Hogan.
That's fair. That's honestly fair.
Even though obviously there's still kids that grew up with him and that was a hero, he really did nothing for the business, in my opinion.
He
But,
did nothing for the business.
So yeah, I don't want to harp on it too long, obviously, but obviously yes,
Right.
rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. We thank you for kind of paving the way and stuff like that. But before I get into this Kevin Feige interview, you said like there's something about some of the stuff his character did. later on you weren't a big fan of, and this has nothing to do with Hulk Hogan. It just made me think of it because I saw this clip of Ric Flair, obviously older in his career, and I just can't stop thinking about it. Where it was like some random taping of Raw or something like that, and it was like the time that he was managing Charlotte, and for some reason they're in the ring with Natalya and Dean Ambrose, and Natalya is cutting this promo, and Ric Flair just gets on the mic, and I don't think he knew, like, he just said whatever came to mind. He didn't go on the script. He said whatever came to mind, and he just goes, kill yourself. And he was like, ridiculous, kill yourself. And you see Dean Ambrose in the background just like, oh my God. Like, oh my, did he just say that? Like, just
That's
laughing.
so awful.
Yeah, so that is so crazy. But yeah, all right. So Kevin Feige
Oh my God.
did one of his rare long interviews with I'm already forgetting who it was. So Theo, if you could quickly look that up for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was probably Variety or something like that, a big news outlet. And Kevin Feige does not normally do these, especially to like even when he's on red carpets. People always love to ask him, try and get something out of him on a red carpet. He's always very coy, always very like, maybe, you never know, or would you like to maybe do that? Very coy about things, but every once in a while he does do these interviews where he will give something away, he will tease something, and things like that. So, you got it over there?
I don't know, because it's like Variety was like the first thing that popped up. I don't know if it's actually Variety that he did the interview with.
Okay, I believe it was.
Nobody's saying who he did the fucking interview with.
Okay, it's all right. But either way, I know it was big.
I'm assuming it's Variety.
Right. It was a big interview, and like I said, he doesn't normally do these. Most of the time, every once in a while he'll do these. I feel like most info we get out of him is when they normally, make announcements, when they do like their big reveals or whatever. That's probably the most we see him actually kind of give anything away, where he announces who's playing, Nova or whatever, things like that. But he sat down, he did this interview, and I don't think I have all of the notes here because there was definitely some stuff, but I do have some notes here that I want to go over and we can discuss. So first off, the X-Men script is being written currently. The director is Jake Schreier, who directed the Thunderbolts. So already off to a good start. Clearly, he knows how to manage a team in a movie because he did it perfectly in Thunderbolts. But Kevin Feige did also say that this X-Men will be very youth oriented in script and in cast. So it's definitely going to be a younger situation, probably more towards the later Fox movies rather than the earlier ones. But I think that's still going to be its own thing. So yeah, that's definitely interesting, but it makes sense. I feel like they're introducing them into this universe, so it makes kind of sense for them to be maybe teenagers or younger adults, and as well as now if you cast somebody, have more time to kind of use them. You can use them, and I think it'll be really cool to see these characters really grow up. If they cast a teenage cast for Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean Grey, it'll be really cool to actually see them grow up, and by the time they're kind of on their last appearance, they're going to be fully grown adults that are, we have all this kind of lore behind and stuff like that. So I'm definitely interested in that. You have any thoughts there?
No, I think that's a very smart move. I think it's very dope. I think a lot of people are obviously very excited about the X-Men. They've been excited by the idea of the X-Men coming into the MCU pretty much since the MCU started. So I think finally getting some news about that is obviously always very exciting. Especially since I think X-Men are very highly rated, even amongst you and me in terms of our favorite characters.
Yeah, for sure. So he did say that Secret Wars is going to basically be the reboot of the MCU, which I feel like everybody kind of already figured that anyways. That after Secret Wars, it's going to be like a reset, because that's also kind of what happens in Secret Wars. Like they have to make like a new universe or whatever. So that kind of makes sense. But also to follow through on that, he did say that at some point there will be classic characters that will be, portrayed by new actors like Captain America and Iron Man. And I tweeted about this because I was like, we should be civil about this, but I know that when the day, and we should also be preparing ourselves. If you're really attached to RDJ as Iron Man or, Chris Evans as Captain America, as Steve Rogers, we should be, prepping for that if you're really attached to that. But instead, I know that when they announce a new actor, people are just going to act ridiculous over this. So please don't do that. But I think that totally makes sense. I think, having somebody, if they're doing this reset, having somebody new to play Steve Rogers or Tony Stark makes complete sense, especially now we're going to have the X-Men. I know it may be hard to say goodbye to an actor playing a character, but it's par for the course. And when it comes to specifically Steve Rogers or Tony Stark, I don't think like it shouldn't be too different. We've had multiple Peter Parkers. You know, we have 3 main Peter Parkers. We've had multiple Batmen. We've had multiple Supermen. It's just the way it goes. Like, that's just how it goes. So it should be no different for Steve Rogers or Tony Stark. Because even like Wyatt, our friend Wyatt, I asked him. He went and saw Fantastic Four last night. And he was saying like, oh, he really enjoyed the movie, but then he kind of was upset. Now he's upset because he realized that the next movie we're gonna have Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. And I was like, well, why do you think that? And he was like, it's just a waste of Doctor Doom. And I'm also a little hesitant on the RDJ thing, but I look at it as if it is a Tony Stark variant, it makes sense to me. But even if it's not, this is not the only time we're going to see a Doctor Doom. Especially, again, if this is happening, everything's getting reset, you don't think they're going to almost immediately go, okay, well, let's get another one of our major characters cast in a new role with a younger person that could play it longer. So that's why I'm like, all these characters, even the Fantastic Four, we just got introduced to all 4 of these people. And again, if everything's getting reset, there's a good chance that we may have 4 new people playing the Fantastic Four when we come into this new version of the MCU, because everything may just be younger, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think everybody should kind of freak out over this. It's just par for the course. So yeah. He did say he loved Superman. He thought Superman was a great movie. He went and saw it. Thought it was a great movie. He texted James Gunn and basically told him it was a great movie. He said he loved David Cornsweet as Superman and that he embodied the role. And he also loved that it was very in your face. He said, like, his quote was like, it was very in your face, like, you didn't need an explanation. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is? Too bad. He's here anyways. Like, and so I agree with him on that. Like, it definitely is like a take no prisoners kind of thing. Like, here we are. This is it. We don't need to explain everything to you, because some stuff will be explained and some stuff won't be explained. But come along for the ride anyways. So I agree with him on that. Were you looking something up over there?
I was looking up different ages for actors because I feel like that's a pretty important aspect in all this recasting stuff as well. Because it's like, I can understand getting attached to like Rob Downey Jr. as Iron Man and stuff like that, but you gotta know this guy's 60 years old, guys. He's not gonna be doing this kind of shit forever, or at least not for much longer at this point. So I think obviously recasting, especially for like younger actors, is a very good and conscious decision to be bringing back your most popular characters.
But that is also something he did touch on too. He did say that it does vary by character, because he said that he believes Chris Hemsworth is still in his prime to continue to play Thor for many years. So I think it just does vary on, you know, actors and things like that. And again, RDJ, I think, really just wanted to do this because he thought it would be a fun idea and loves the character. I don't think RDJ signed on going like, yep, let's go for 30 years and I'll be Doctor Doom for 30 years and show up. No, I think this is going to be a one-off, well, two-off thing. He'll be in Doomsday, he'll be in Secret Wars, and then I don't think he will be Doctor Doom. I think our new Doctor Doom will come in with the reboot, and RDJ will, you know, happily enjoy his retirement and his billions of dollars at this point. So, he Kevin Feige verbally officially confirmed that Punisher will be in Spider-Man 4. That was a rumor and stuff like that, and we all believed it, but Kevin Feige has officially confirmed it, but he did say that his tone will be different, which I'm very intrigued to see how they do, and hopefully they pull it off right. But I'm not surprised, because it's like you can't have, in a Spider-Man movie that's probably primarily targeted towards children, you can't have Punisher just rolling up and just slaughtering people and like getting blood everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it.
That's bullshit.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle him for sure. Eric Pearson.
What is he going to use? Squirt guns? Get the fuck out of here.
Eric Pearson, who I don't know, but he is currently writing Blade, so Blade is still on the table. They're still trying to figure it out, but he is currently writing Blade. Kevin Feige did say, though, that like he just didn't, when they were working on it and they were close to even shooting on it and stuff, they just didn't feel right about it, and he said like they didn't want to just put Mahershala Ali in like a vampire costume and just like have him like killing people, and that's kind of what it felt like. So they're really perfecting, I guess, the idea of what they want. I know it was supposed to be a period piece, and I believe he did say that now it will be set in the modern day instead. So yeah, again, I know a lot of people are hating on this, and they'll be like, why would they announce this if they didn't have it ready? It happens. It just happens. And again, I'd rather them take their time and do this right than not do it right, and people are hating on it, and then guess what? They rushed it. They don't take their time. They put it out. People don't like it, and now all of a sudden, what do? You get people that are being racist because now it's a primarily black character. Now you get people that are going, see, I told you the MCU's dead. They had 2 great movies, but then look, they did Blade and it sucked. Like, you just open that doorway to, like, crazy amount of toxic fandoms. And you still do that anyways if they do take their time to perfect it and it still sucks. But it's still better to take the time to perfect it than just to rush it out because people are making memes on the internet. So, yeah. Michael Waldron, who did Multiverse of Madness, and I believe he worked on WandaVision, is helping to write the Doomsday script, which may sound weird because Doomsday is actively shooting, but apparently they are kind of writing as they go, which could be kind of interesting because that's not, you know, I know they normally do like reshoots and whatnot, but I don't know if they ever just completely are like figuring out the script like the day before they have to go shoot the scenes. So definitely interesting, and I know a lot of people are not a fan of Michael Waldron. A lot of people don't care for Multiverse of Madness. People do like WandaVision, but there's a lot of stuff that people didn't like in WandaVision or whatever. So this is interesting to see, but I'm still on hope. I'm not trying to judge and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it takes us. Kevin Feige also said that he has 2 years left on his current contract with Marvel Studios, but he has no plans on leaving anytime soon. He said he just wants to continue to make the biggest films that he can for the biggest audience that he can. So, yeah. I believe that's, again, there is more, but I believe that's kind of all I kind of wrote down. But do you have any other kind of thoughts on that?
No, not really.
No.
You,
Okay.
you kind of got it, man. I didn't really know about this. That's the thing.
Okay. I feel like I just saw it all over my ex like 2 days ago, so I was like, well, it's pretty relevant. And again, like I said, he doesn't normally do these interviews, so I feel like when he does, it's definitely something we should be talking about because we do care so much about like these movies and these characters and these shows and things like that. So, yeah. All right, yeah. So anything you want to add before we move on?
No, I think we could just go straight into song of the week.
All right. I just got tweeted at by Superman actually. So.
Did you? What Superman have to say?
They told me to get my tickets now, which I don't need to do. I've already seen the movie, but you may need to do. So
I may need to do that. That is a great reminder. Thank you, Superman, via Kyle's Twitter. That is awesome. Thank you.
There you go.
My song of the week is going to be Heist by Ben Folds, which, if for any of you that do not know, is a part of the Over the Hedge soundtrack, which has been blowing up all over my TikTok for the past fucking week for some reason. Of just people making these memes of just like POV, you're looking at outside as you see a raccoon, a turtle, and a bunch of possums steal a bunch of food from your neighbor's house.
Steal some potato chips.
Song playing. Yeah, exactly. They're playing this song over it, and I'm like, I completely forgot just how many bangers this movie had for a soundtrack.
I need to rewatch that movie for sure.
Very good.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
I will rewatch it with you. It is so classic. I love it.
I have I made like a letterbox list of my comfort movies, and it's just like all movies that I've seen a million times but I love. They're very much like mainly like family movies. But would you say Stuck It or Over the Hedge or whatever is like one of your comfort movies?
I wouldn't rank it too high on my comfort movies list, but I'd put it up there. I think it's a pretty solid one for sure.
Okay. My song of the week, completely different, is gonna pay tribute to the man Ozzy Osbourne himself. I'm going to pick Changes by Black Sabbath. I love that song. It's a great song. So yeah, of course, tribute to the man himself, the Prince of Darkness. So yeah, I did it again. Where I said, oh yeah, we need to talk about what our topic is at the beginning of the episode. Well, did it again. Totally forgot to do that. So sorry if you have stuck with us. Again, you can see the thumbnail and the title. Our topic today, to cap off our kind of month of superhero-esque stuff. We started with some DC stuff, sprinkling in a little bit of Marvel stuff last week as we transitioned from Superman into Fantastic Four. But now we're going to take the two and we're going to merge them together with DC and Marvel. And we're going to talk about our top 5 superhero movies in general. It doesn't even have to be technically Marvel or DC. It could be anything. Right. But I feel like both of our lists are probably primarily at least going to be Marvel or DC movies. So yeah, I have an insane amount of honorable mentions because I just could not stop writing these honorable mentions down.
I had to limit myself to actual honorable mentions because it's like if I just put every like MCU, Marvel, DC movie that I just liked, this list would be like 5 pages long.
No, definitely. And I also had to limit myself after I had already written down like 10 movies. So, Yeah, you want me to start or you want to start?
You can start this time. I
Okay.
just think my list is probably a little bit shorter, just because it's like I specifically went with like, okay, anything that I think is like 8.5 or higher, that's what I'm gonna put on here.
Okay.
Because if I go with like 7 out of 10s, it's gonna be like twice as long.
Right.
You
I
can
am.
start if you want.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna explain anything in the honorable mentions. I'm just going. Logan, Wakanda Forever, Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Guardians 1 and 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, both Spider-Verse movies, the first Shazam, even the second Shazam, Batman Returns, both Doctor Strange movies, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Those are my honorable mentions. I love all those movies. I think they're all fun movies. Yeah, well, I did fly by it. I didn't take my time, so.
You did fly by it, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
those are my honorable mentions. I really enjoy all of those movies. And again, there's more, but I was like, let me just stop. So yeah, but coming in at number 5 for me is gonna be The Dark Knight. I fucking love this movie. This is almost like a perfect movie. There are times where it could be a little slow at certain points, but I think we all can agree that the highlight of this movie is obviously the Joker, and maybe one of the best movie villains, comic book movie villains, whatever you want to say. Heath Ledger's Joker is like just top tier. So when I watched this movie, obviously that's the scenes I'm most looking forward to is Heath Ledger's Joker for sure. But Christian Bale's Batman is obviously great. The rest of the cast is great. But yeah, in general, I just love this movie. I think it's a great movie. But I don't need to glaze it too much. Everybody understands. Everybody has glazed it for like the past 15 years or whatever it is at this point. So yeah, that's my number 5. My number 4 is going to be the 2002 Spider-Man, the OG Spider-Man. I know most people say that Spider-Man 2 is the best one out of the trilogy. And I don't disagree, in a way, but to me, I think I just have more nostalgia towards this one. This was the start of it all. The Green Goblin, I know a lot of people may joke about like the design, that it looks like a dirt bike rider. I think the design is fire. I've always loved the design. Ever since I was a little kid, I thought that the design was really cool. He looks like an evil Power Ranger, so maybe that's why I like it. But yeah, just in general, love this movie. It started it all. You get the origin story, and I think the way they do it is perfectly. Sam Raimi just cooks. So yeah, number 4 for me is going to be the 2002 Spider-Man movie. Number 3 is going to be The Batman. Again, I just love this movie. I thought you were going to say something.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I'm letting you go.
All right, number 3 for me, yeah, it's going to be The Batman. Anybody that knows me knows that this is like so up there for me. I just love this movie so much. When they first announced, Robert Pattinson, everybody was a little skeptical. Not me, because I had seen him in other movies outside of just the Twilight movies. So I knew that he had a lot of range and that he was really a good actor. And everybody still was proven wrong. Everybody clowned him. But then the movie came out and everybody's like, oh my god, he was so good. Sorry. Throat's a little scratchy. But in general, yeah. So I think he does a great job. Zoe Kravitz is incredible as Catwoman. Colin Farrell is incredible as Penguin. Like, literally, Paul Dano, insane as Riddler. I think the Riddler, great character. I absolutely loved it. Uh-oh. Everybody's going to fall down now.
Everybody's falling down.
Yep. Pattinson's Batman, also, I think, just incredible. Yeah, Zoe Kravitz was great. I love the story of it, but I think mainly what I love is just the vibe. They did such a good job of making like a emo, gothic-esque Gotham that like the Nolan trilogy does not do at all. The Gotham in like the Nolan trilogy is just, it's just a city. Like it just looks like a normal city. And like even like oh my god, the Michael Keaton Batman movies, Gotham doesn't feel super gothic, even though like Batman Returns and stuff, like Tim Burton, there is a vibe of it, but it doesn't seem like super dark. It almost seems like whimsical, almost like a little bit of darkness with a little bit of whimsical, especially like Batman Returns with all the Penguin shit and whatnot. I think they perfected Gotham in this stuff. It is just super dark and like depressing and emo, and I feel like that's exactly what Gotham would be. So yeah, to me, overall, this movie is just cooks. It's so good. He's my favorite Batman. It's my favorite Batman movie, and I cannot wait for the second one. So that's my number 3 is going to be The Batman. My number 2 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, another one that just, I think, cooks. emotionally wrecks me every single time I watch it. I legitimately cry every time I've watched that movie. I've seen that movie like 5 times probably at this point, and every time I legitimately get emotional or just full on just start crying. Yeah, again, I love the idea of it. I love the idea that Rocket was like the secret, main character the whole time and whatnot. Yeah, so this one, again, I can sit here and glaze it, but to me, I love it so much because of how emotional it is, and it's like such a nice, very sad and kind of depressing, but still very nice, like kind of goodbye to these characters and this group of characters that we all love. So yeah, that's my number 2 is going to be Guardians 3. And my number 1, Theo, can you guess my number 1? I feel like you can. Yeah, I definitely talked about it
The
before.
Power Rangers movie.
There we go.
You guessed it.
No.
No, you can go ahead.
All right, so my number 1, my favorite. I can't believe you don't know this. I've definitely talked about this a lot. Hold on. We put Pattinson down.
I just don't. Get the fuck out of here, Pattinson.
Yeah. My number 1 is going to be Captain America Civil War. This movie is just, to me, it is everything a superhero movie needs. It's basically an Avengers movie without the Avengers logo. Like, it's pretty much an Avengers movie. Yeah, to me, this is everything. It has such a good cast. Obviously, they bring everybody together. It was the MCU debut of my favorite superhero, Spider-Man. So, obviously, I was super excited about that. And honestly, I think the script is great. I love Zemo because he's not the normal villain. He doesn't attack them with powers or skills. He legitimately just fucks with their mind. Without even using anything, he literally just manipulates them into hating each other and shit off of, like, literally one thing that Winter Soldier killed Tony's parents. But I also think I love it so much because this was kind of my real introduction to the MCU. As I was like a teenager, I kind of fell out of like the superhero stuff. And I think I've said it to you. I maybe even said it on the podcast. One night, I was just up at like 3 in the morning, couldn't sleep, and I watched like the Civil War trailer where they showed Spider-Man, and I was like, oh shit, like Spider-Man's in this. Okay, so I need to like lock in, because I think I was in the camp of like, well, that doesn't look like Andrew Garfield. You know what I'm saying? And it's not Tobey Maguire. I'm like, this is a new Spider-Man. But I also was like, I think this is like a universe that's all connected and stuff. So I was very interested. So then I stayed up and I was just watching like videos on like explaining the MCU and like all that stuff. And then I went on like a whole binge. I just watched every single MCU movie leading up to Civil War. So like, I think I love this so much as well because of the fact that this was like my first MCU movie that really got me into the MCU and really made me go like, oh, this is a whole, like, something so cool. It's a whole universe that's connected, and certain characters show up in Captain America movie, but you have Black Widow showing up in it, like, so definitely like what got me into it. So that's why that's my number 1 as well. Like, I just love it so much in general. I think it's such a perfect superhero movie. So yeah, that's my list.
I figured that would have been your number 1.
So
if not the Power Rangers movie, obviously.
Right. My number 5, The Dark Knight. My number 4, Spider-Man 2002. My number 3, The Batman. My number 2, Guardians 3, and my number 1 is Captain America: Civil War.
All right. I'll go off and start with my honorable mentions. I'm gonna explain this first one, a little bit later on as to why it's an honorable mention and not actually in my top 5. The Dark Knight is gonna start off my honorable mentions list.
Tomato. Get him out of here.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, Infinity War and Endgame are also honorable mentions. Spider-Man 2, the original Superman movie from 1978, both the Batmans from 89 and 2022. Okay. I think they're both pretty much like 1 and 2 for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Captain America: First Avenger and Civil War. I gotta throw Civil War in there. You can't not have it.
Of course.
Fantastic Four from 2005 is such a comfort movie.
Okay.
But I also just added now. Also, this new Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, all right.
So I feel like it's. We'll get into this into the actual.
Right. But I also do. I want to, not to cut you off. I do want to say. Right. So on my Letterboxd, I have a MCU movies ranked list, and every time there's a new one, I put it in there, and I go, okay, where in the list does this fall? It's pretty high up there for me, dude. It's pretty high up there for me.
I would imagine so. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I will also make it an honorable mention for me because that movie's great.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Thunderbolts.
All right, nice. Thunderbolts I would also put in as an honorable mention. I was just like, I think I was like not paying attention because it's so recent. But Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, I would probably both put in honorable mentions as well for me.
Thunderbolts, I think I really want to put in there just because it's like I feel like the theme of the movie is so different from what they've ever done before,
Right.
and I really fuck with it.
Yeah, for sure.
My number 5 is going to be Black Panther.
Ooh,
I fucking love this movie. I knew from the second I saw him in the trailers for Civil War, I'm like, this is gonna be another top hero for me for sure.
Yes.
And when he finally got his own movie, I remember sitting there in the theater when the credits are playing, and I was like, God damn, that was a good fucking movie.
I remember
like this movie a lot.
I remember us walking out of the theater and both being like, "Yo, they fucking cooked! Like that may be the best Marvel movie we ever seen."
They fucking cooked. With
That
this
also
movie,
is
bro.
supposed
I'm
to
telling
be.
you.
Sorry again to cut you off. That's supposed to be my honorable mentions. That was the one where I was like typing, and then I was like Black Panther, and then I was like, I got like 20 on here. I got to stop. So Black Panther technically is also on my honorable mentions list.
I love the visuals of it. I love the costume design. Obviously, the cast is incredible. I love a lot of the scenes that go on here. I love a lot. They're such good actors. They're
Yes.
such good actors and
Yes.
give great performances every single time. The music, bro, I think has to have like a top 10 soundtrack for any superhero movie ever. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's so much I love about this movie. I can watch this movie anytime and enjoy the hell out of it.
That
My
the
number-
trailer. Sorry. The trailer. I just tweeted this because it popped up like on my timeline the other day. The trailer for Wakanda Forever may be my favorite trailer for any superhero movie. Like that first trailer with like
It's a good trailer.
that song that transitions into the Kendrick "We Gonna Be Alright," but the whole emotional part of it, that first Wakanda Forever trailer is probably my favorite like comic book movie trailer for sure. Probably just my favorite movie trailer in general.
Hold on. Before over the Force Awakens trailer?
That one also cooked, but I don't know. I think just so much the emotion that Wakanda Forever was bringing, and we knew it was going to bring, obviously, with Chadwick. I think, like, just, the emotion that I felt watching it. I remember the first time I watched it, I legitimately cried when they showed, like, his mural and stuff. So, yeah, I think over the Force Awakens trailer.
Okay. I just think, personally, I think the Force Awakens trailer needs to go into the fucking history books because I feel
That
like
one is fire.
that shit to me, that was fire. Number 4 is going to be Avengers. This is a classic for me. This, similar to how Civil War really got you into the MCU, this is what got me into the MCU, which, to be fair, was a lot earlier. This is still, like, phase 1 sort of stuff. But
Right.
I remember watching this movie at the after-school program that they had at the YMCA across the street from my middle school.
Mhm.
And I was like, God damn, that was a great movie. And I've probably seen it, like, a dozen more times at this point. To me, I think what puts it so high up on my list is just how important it is, not just for like the MCU, but just for superhero movies in general.
Right.
Me personally, I don't know. I'm more sure other people have like different thoughts on this, but like superhero and comic book movies, this is like the line between what's an oldie and what's like new shit to me
Right.
in
Right.
terms of like superhero movies.
Yeah,
Like,
there was
I feel
definitely
like
a
this
shift.
movie, there's definitely a shift, and I feel like comic book movies have definitely changed in how they work, how they're told in stories,
Mhm.
and how they operate ever since this movie came out. I think more so than any other superhero movie, this one changed the game
Right.
the most
Mhm.
into what it is today.
Right.
And I don't think it should be discredited for that fact because it's just so important in the
Yeah.
history of superhero movies.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely like. I mean, that was the first time that any movie had done that, where it's like all these characters come together. Because you might get a side character that shows up in something. You never get like 4 main characters all like, or 5 or whatever, like all popping up together and stuff. So, for sure, I remember my first time seeing this. I think I've told you. I went to a movie. I don't remember what movie it was. It was me, my dad, I believe Grace, and your dad went to a movie on like Thanksgiving or something like that. And again, I don't know what movie it was, but obviously it was after we like ate dinner and stuff like that. So it's probably like 8 or 9 o'clock. We went and saw this movie, and then we left the movie. And my dad just goes to your dad like, "Hey, let's go in and watch Avengers." And so we went in and watched Avengers at like midnight, and I fell asleep through the whole thing. The only scene I remember seeing in the theater was like the Loki Hulk scene of him like smashing him around and shit. Don't remember anything
Right.
else from that movie in that experience, but it is still cool. I could still technically say I did see the first Avengers movie in theaters, but I just remember it was like 1 a.m. I'm shocked your dad was even like, yeah, sure, because he likes to go to bed at like 9 o'clock, bro. So I was like, yeah, definitely interesting that we all saw it. But yeah, so definitely a great movie. It changed the whole game for sure.
My number 3 is going to be, I think, one of the most underrated superhero picks for a movie, and I think needs to be on a lot more people's lists. My number 3 is The Incredibles.
Okay, yeah, of course.
This is such a comfort movie for me. This is a top tier comfort. This is way more comfort movie than Over the Hedge. I love everything about this movie. I think this movie does it takes that aspect of the Fantastic Four of like that whole like family like value into just makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Which is already crazy because the Fantastic Four already does a very good job with it, but this just takes it to the max and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Coupling that with like the amazing animation that still holds up like 20 years later, and the amazing soundtrack that goes along with it, and the incredible story that it has. This is a movie that I can really watch at any time and just love the shit out of it. I've always loved this movie. It's always been super high on my superhero list, on my Pixar list, all of it. It's so very well done, and it still holds up incredibly well to this day.
That's definitely a movie, like, again, when I make this list, like, and I do this all the time where I think of, like, okay, comic book movies, superhero movies, and I only think of, like, Marvel and DC. I always forget, like, the outside stuff. So that's another movie that would definitely be an honorable mention. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies for sure. Like, that movie, I also like the second one, but the first one is just unmatched, bro. The first one's legendary.
So
top tier.
It's legendary.
Yeah. I've been sending you the lore behind The Incredibles.
You've been sending me so many things, and now it's just all over my feed, and I'm like, this is the best shit you've ever sent me. Somehow, now my whole feed is just incredible.
Somehow The Incredibles made Homelander before Homelander, but he's also way worse. Like, it's the lore.
He's such a piece of shit.
Right. The lore behind The Incredibles and the heroes is just insane stuff, bro. For sure.
They've added. There's so much lore back there.
It's so awesome. Untapped because it's just like background stuff. It's like, no, we need like a Disney Plus show about like the other heroes in the Incredible like world and stuff like that.
Oh, that was another thing I wanted to bring up about this movie that I really enjoy, and how it kind of encapsulates that like golden age era of superheroes from like back in the day sort of stuff.
Right.
Where it's just kind of like the classic costumed characters and stuff like that, with the classic like superhero names and powers and stuff like that, how it really kind of encapsulates that whole like vibe and energy and time. I think they do a really good job of that as well.
It also has like a little bit of that retro futurism vibe. It's not like in your face.
Exactly, retro futurism.
Right, it's not like in your face like Fantastic Four 2025 is, but there's like, because there's part where it's like, okay, it looks like a normal city, like, you know what I'm saying, but then there is like, their house looked very like 60s-esque, like there is like a little bit of that retro futurism mixed with like current day, and I think that's really cool too.
Right, because it's got like the retro like housing and the retro cars and stuff like that.
Okay, you know what? Fuck it, bro. The Incredibles is number 1 for both of us, actually. scrap the rest of the list.
Have a whole Incredibles podcast. Yeah. We could just go on and on about all the cool shit in the Incredibles.
Yes, such
forever.
a good movie, bro.
It's so good. My number 2 is going to be Superman 2025.
Wow.
Very much so. It could be recency bias. It could be Superman bias. But god fucking damn do I love this fucking movie. I'm going to see it again tonight for a 4th time. I've already said it. I'll probably be seeing it.
Say that again?
A 4th time? Bah, bah, bah.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, Fantastic Four is probably also something I'll see again for sure. But like, I just love this fucking movie.
Definitely
It's such a
want to see Fantastic Four again.
Such a good homage to comic book, like just comic books in general and comic book storytelling. It does it better than I think any other superhero movie I've ever seen. And with it being like the titular character just being my favorite superhero of all time, it's everything to me, man. I've been all over this shit for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I've gotten I've got a poster of it already. I've already talked about.
Hey man,
they made this.
I feel like it's your 4th time. I feel like tonight when you get there, you might need to get a popcorn bucket or a souvenir drink cup at this point.
I don't know where to put that shit, man.
See, well, the drink cup is smaller. You could use it as a drink cup, or you could use it as like a pen holder. So that actually might have multiple uses there.
That I could probably work with. Yeah. I could work with that.
You can get the little Lex Luthor cup topper where he's sitting in the chair.
Where he's sitting like Lex in the recliner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this movie, man. I will see this movie 100 more times throughout my life. I'm more than sure. It's just all amazing.
Yeah.
And my number one superhero movie of all time, I've talked about this movie so many times, is not just my favorite superhero movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This shit is goated. I don't give out too many 10 out of 10s on things. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Hell yeah.
Everything about this movie is right. The casting is incredible. The animation is some of the best I've ever seen in any movie ever. The music is amazing. The story is amazing. The characters are amazing. It's so like inspirational and just I can't put into words just how incredible this movie is. I know a ton of people have already done it at this point, but like I can just like everything about this movie is just incredible. I will watch this movie over and over and over and over again, right next to Superman.
Yeah.
But like it's goated. It's literally goated.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's such a good movie. I like it more than the first Spider-Verse movie, even though I also love that one. But I think, yeah, what is it? It's Across the Spider-Verse, right? Yeah.
Across the Spider-Verse, yeah.
I'd be mixing Into, Across, and Beyond. I'd be like, which one is which? But, yeah, no, that's such a good movie. Miguel O'Hara is my favorite character in that movie. I really resonated with his story to the point where I got legitimately emotional listening to his, like, speech about how he wanted to save his world and he tried to save his universe and stuff. So like that resonated very well with me because I know, again, I mean, I was coming like 2 years off of losing my dad, but I would, sorry guys, I would trade the whole universe to be able to be with my full family again, you know? So like I felt it. I went and saw this. I remember, so I was working at the school and it was like my first day of like the summer hours, which I don't know how every school works, but as a custodian at, you know, River Ridge, it was like you're there for 10 hours. I was only like a 6-hour employee, but I was there for 10 hours. I would work like 3 10-hour days, and then I would have like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, which was great. It was like the first, I think it was like the Thursday, or it was like the Wednesday or something like that. So it was like the first week of the summer hours. I'm sorry, I'm yapping, but first week of the summer hours. But I was like, I was going to be off for like 4 days. And I just remember like, I went home. I got home at like 6 o'clock. I was exhausted because like I was like not just vacuuming and stuff. Like during the summer, you're like stripping floors and stuff like that. I was exhausted, and I was like, "Hey mom, you want to go see this Spider-Man movie with me at like 7:30?" And we both got up, and we both were so exhausted, but we went and saw it, and I'm so glad I did because I like the moment the movie started, my tiredness disappeared for like 2 hours. I was just like glued to the screen, and then I went home and slept like a baby, and then I had 4 days to just like do nothing. It was great. So yeah, in general, that movie is just like so good, bro. Such a good movie. Yeah. All right.
Top 5. 5 Black Panther, 4 Avengers, 3 Incredibles, 2 Superman 2025, 1 Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Good list for sure. I agree pretty much all. I mean, again, Superman I liked. I wasn't like huge on it, but I still do like it, and I know like it's valid. Even if it was in somebody's honorable mentions, it's definitely valid because it is a great movie. You want to go through? I kind of gave my response to your list. You want to go through and give your response to my list a little bit?
Sure, yeah.
No.
I will start with The Dark Knight because no, I'm ending the podcast here. Actually, we're done. I'll start with The Dark Knight because I do want to talk about it because obviously it does have that potential to be like in the top 5. I was actually very much so tossing up between that or Black Panther for the number 5 spot.
Right.
But I feel like the only reason it didn't make it into that spot is just because this is one of the best films of all time, and it's not because of its comic book aspect to me. I think it's because of the incredible performances that are given for this movie and the incredible score.
Right.
And I just think that it's not because of like it's a Batman movie that this is such a goated movie. It's because of just like the performances they're given and the actors and stuff like that. This is like a legitimate film. Like this isn't talked about as like just one of the best superhero movies of all time. This is talked about as one of the best movies ever made by a lot of people,
and one of the few
and so
to like win an Oscar. Heath Ledger won an Oscar.
Yes,
That doesn't happen with Superman movie or superhero movies.
No.
So
it honestly almost kind of felt like cheating in a way to kind of put this on the list, if anything.
Okay, thanks.
If that kind
asshole.
of makes any sort of sense.
Sorry, I just love the movie.
No, it's a great movie. I'm not knocking it. It's a great movie. It does deserve to be in people's top fives. I feel like if I'm making like a top 5 comic book superhero movie list, I'd want it to be like of a more comic book movie as instead of like a legitimate, actual fucking incredible film.
Right. No, I feel you.
What else do you got on your list?
My number 4. My number 4 is going to be Spider-Man 2002.
We've talked about this already. I'm pretty sure on one of the last episodes that we've done. I'm far more partial to Superman 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Not just because I do think it's a better movie, just because that's my nostalgia Spider-Man movie. That was the one that I always grew up watching.
Right.
I've only really seen Spider-Man 1 like once or twice or so. It's just not as high up for me.
Right. No, and we have talked. I feel like we talked about it recently, either on the pod or just when we were hanging out. But like,
I think it was on the pod.
Right. We said like what Green Goblin is to me is more like what Doc Ock is to you for Spider-Man 2. So it makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
My number 3 was the Batman.
So I have that on my honorable mentions. I also have the 1989 one. I like the 1989 one more just because that was the Batman movie that like. It wasn't the first one I watched because obviously The Dark Knight was the first one I watched, and that one is an incredible movie. But I feel like Batman 1989 to me perfectly like encapsulates Batman in terms of like an actual comic book movie. Because like Dark Knight is like just a legitimate like film to the point where it doesn't really harp too much on the comic book aspects of it, except for like a few characters here and there that are just straight from the comic books. And I think the Batman from 22 does do a very similar job in that sort of area where it does obviously harp more towards like the comics, but I think 1989 does that perfectly. But what I do love about 22 is just obviously the Riddler is incredible. He I think is probably one of like my top 10 favorite like villains from any superhero movie ever.
Yeah.
I think he does an incredible job with that role. My only biggest gripe with it, honestly, is why it's really kind of an honorable mention is Pattinson does a great Batman, terrible Bruce Wayne. I cannot get behind his Bruce Wayne at all. I just think he has zero character when it comes to his Bruce Wayne. And I do get the idea that like Batman sees himself as Batman and Bruce Wayne is kind of like the cover character for himself. But like there are so many other like versions of Bruce Wayne that are done so much better and actually have like some sort of character, to where Pattinson's Bruce Wayne just kind of seems like a ghost almost, or like a vampire to an extent, where he's just kind of like non-reactive or like emotional to a lot of stuff. I feel like and I love the idea of Bruce Wayne just being like this cocky asshole because he's a billionaire and shit like that. I love that kind of Bruce Wayne, and that's just not how it's depicted here.
See, that's the thing. I actually hate that. I think I love the idea. And again, listen, I'm not saying it. I don't want to say I hate it. It's just like I actually preferred his version of Bruce Wayne because, again, not to harp on like the dad thing, but that's very much how like when he died. That's very much how I was and am like very. I became very kind of reclusive, and I'm very like non-emotional. I feel like I was kind of an emotional person, and like now I'm very like kind of stoned. Like I'm kind of stone faced to a lot of shit. Honestly, my dog is like dying, and like I was very like upset, but I was very just like whatever. Like if God's doing it, God's doing it. I can't whatever. So like to me, I think that's why I like it more, because from someone that lost a parent, the last thing I want to go do is put on a suit and like try and impress people and try and be like a cocky dick. I kind of just want to be left alone and like rot. You know what I'm saying? So like I think that's why I connected actually so much to this version of the character, is because I'm literally watching. It's like the joke of like I'm literally Batman, but I'm literally like watching myself on screen here of like exactly how I felt when I was going through losing a parent. So I think I really prefer that version of it, to be honest with you.
I can understand that. I just think to me Bruce Wayne as like a character when he's like going out and about and portraying this kind of stuff, I just think him like portraying this character as if he was like acting and whatnot,
right,
I think kind of makes more sense to me and whatnot. I think we're just gonna have to kind of agree to disagree.
No, for sure. And I do think I feel like they kind of show it in like The Dark Knight, but I'm like maybe they need to show more of it of like have him be this character, but show more of like him. I want to see, and maybe it isn't a movie and I'm forgetting or whatever, but I want to see more of like that. But then I also want to see the ramifications of now he gets home and he takes the suit off and he's just like miserable. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like that idea of like, yeah, he went out and he was trying to, you know, impress people and spend money and have the women, but then it's like nothing changed. When he gets home, nothing changed. He's still alone. He's still by himself. You know what I'm saying? That's more, I think, what
I'm more than sure there's a movie about that.
Well, in Dark Knight, I feel like in Dark Knight they hype on it a little bit of like he goes out and stuff, and then he's home and he's just kind of himself, and like he's, you know, he just wants to be like with Rachel or whatever. Like I feel like there is hints of it, but maybe more heavily take the aspects of the Batman where he's kind of reclusive and like kind of emotional and like non-emotional, like kind of, you know, emo in that way, but also twist it a little bit and show the, oh yeah, he just went out to this club and bought out the whole club, but then you kind of get the Pattinson version as well when he gets home and he's just kind of like a fucking recluse, you know? So, yeah. My number 2 was Guardians 3.
I always liked Guardians 1 the most of that trilogy. I still do. Mm-hmm. Not to discredit Guardians 3, because I do think Guardians 3 is also amazing. I've only seen it once, though, and that's kind of the thing. I got to see it more.
You got to rewatch that, brother.
I got to rewatch it. It's one I definitely do have to rewatch. I want to rewatch it at some point. I just don't know when.
Right.
So.
Okay. And my number 1 was obviously Civil War.
Civil War is great. I just think that, like, so much other stuff has come out since then that kind of, like, trumps that almost. And also, I think I've seen it too many times now to the point where I'm like... I don't have that same, like, excitement for it that I did, like, the first few times. Because obviously it is a very big movie because it does get a lot of heroes in there. It's definitely almost to that scale of an Avengers movie, but, like...
Right.
Nah.
All right.
I just don't have the same excitement for it. I will say, I do like the plot a lot.
Yeah.
Even though it does kind of pretty much steal from The Incredibles of that idea of just like, hey, maybe superheroes...
Just glazing The Incredibles.
Be like, I fucking love The Incredibles. Get off my dick.
They should have took the idea of Civil War and just made it Incredibles 3. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. You've made my point for me.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of our episode there. Definitely appreciate y'all watching for sure. Stay tuned. Something we've been discussing actually. I don't want to say it's happening because we have to figure it out, but we are planning or trying to plan the idea that we're going to take this podcast from this format and make it a more of like a IRL format. Again, we just got to work with like Theo's schedule because I'm free. He, you know, isn't as free, but we're trying to work with the schedule.
I'm busy.
Right, trying to work on the schedule stuff, but we're trying to make it to at least where once a month he can come over. We can film like 4 episodes, and it'll be us together in person, which I think will be a better conversation. And then the whole news aspect, seeing as how if we're going to film it all at once, we won't have news for each week. I think we're going to make that kind of a bonus episode that we do where it's just us on here like normal, but we're just going to talk about the news for 30 minutes or whatever, and then just have a little bonus thing so we can still talk about current events as they happen and whatnot. And then bonus podcasts, like bonus reviews, just kind of depends if we're with each other and we're able to film together or something like that, then we'll do it. If not, we'll just do it in this format. But that is something, again, I don't want to say it's happening next week because we're trying to figure it out, but it should be happening soon. We do have our podcast planned for August, so definitely interesting. We appreciate y'all sticking with us. If you've been watching this whole month for our kind of superhero month or superhero-centered month, as well as our bonus podcasts with the Superman review and our Fantastic Four review, which we're about to film now, but it should be up before this episode as well. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it, because we both really enjoyed that movie, so I think it'll be a really fun conversation to dive in together. Shout out to WNRN, of course, being our gracious podcast host and always being there when we need him. Jesse always helping us out with our cool designs and stuff like that. I think we have a design that might be in the works, maybe a few. He likes to just mess around, so we might have something coming soon. So yeah, we appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all next week.
Bah, bah, bah.